Hello everybody and welcome back to F122 with me, Dan, and the Slothz team. We've just finished our race in Saudi Arabia, and now we're going to be getting underway with the preparations for Miami for the first time. So let's not waste any time here and get some activities on the cards. Looks like we can fit everything in here, I think, maybe. Let's start with some driver acclaim, some team acclaim. Let's do some aero, our team building. Do we want to mess up everyone else? I don't think I'm doing any. You know what? We get some resource points. Why not? And then we'll add the G-Force training for share right before the race starts. We got nothing in messages. Can't afford anything from here, I don't think. Look at the simulator. No, we're all good there. R&D, we've run out of points, but just to give you a quick rundown, Aston Martin actually have just squeezed ahead of us into the first race, which is probably why we weren't able to keep up with them around the circuit in Jeddah. Although, given how good Alfa Romeo are supposed to be, as our Haas, we didn't do too bad since we were toe-to-toe with them for a lot of the race. Anyway, let's get on with the next session in Miami. Happened? Can we get anything over the break that might be worth our time? Oh, that would be lovely to have. Because you can see we are fairly lacking in the engine department at the moment. So we've got a bit of work to do there. Thanks for that, Renault. Okay, let's just continue with the season break. That was quick. And we've got a Pirelli hot lap coming up as well. So let's just advance.
Our new parts have
Stop there. We've got
they'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Only a few days. I don't think we're going to get this engine upgrade in. No, but we will get it for Spain, which might be useful for the straights. I hope. Okay, Jag reduction system has just finished, or Jag reduction has just finished, and I've unlocked the side profile, and unlock the DRS mechanism. We'll leave the rest as it is and try and pick something up after the first session in Miami. Let's keep going. Good, we got the monocoque structure. Few more points.
Okay, we've had the new parts
And a chassis department event.
We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix. Could you take a look at this for us, please?
I'm going to say yes, because that could bite me on the ass. We'll advance to the Pirelli hot lap. Right, here we are for the hot lap. We've got the McLaren Artura, and we've got to go around Miami. 1 minute 18 for gold. We get a bunch of acclaim and some money, so we'll be looking to try and get that. I've not done this circuit before, and I was going to get practice in practice 1. Unfortunately, we're getting chucked right into it. Let's get to it. And we're away for the hot lap in Miami. We're starting halfway around the circuit. Oh, the rear end of this car is very... We've hit obstacles. I don't know why it's given us like a T-cam. Oh, it's got auto gears as well. We're losing... Oh, very losing the rear right now. This is very odd to drive. Oh, I feel like I need to be changing gear, but oh my god, what is this? Why would you do this? This is... Oh, this is a horrible section. I'm not looking forward to driving this as an F1 car. Oh my god, look at it. There's the uphill chicane. Oh, squeeze through. I'm so glad I don't put my camera on for these because it does not look very good. I can change gear. Oh, that will be why I've been going so... Oh my lord. braking is not quite as efficient as it is in an F1 car in the McLaren Altera. We've completely missed the objectives there and not got all of the gates. We failed. Okay, well, you know what? I'm quite happy feigning there because that was unbelievable. I shouldn't have just done time trial, if I'm honest. Let's get on with the practice session. And here we can see we finally got to the end of practice. We're up to 999 resource points, but we managed to complete all of the tasks thanks to my practice laps at Miami. And look at the discounts that we're getting now. Some really hefty ones. I think Porsche may have assisted us there somewhat. Oh, look at all this. This is fantastic. Not so much about the gearbox. We're not looking towards reliability for this season at least, but certainly some of these aero and chassis upgrades are very, very much needed, and I'll be putting a few points towards those. And we're almost at acclaim level 5. We should reach it by the end of this race, I would have thought. So we'll be able to get our first sponsor and a little bit of extra cash. So finally, before we get underway in qualifying, let's head over to R&D. Let's have a look in aero. We can get the drag reduction, or we can go for some of these cheaper rear downforce upgrades. The beam wing is very tempting, 450. Let's go with the beam wing. We'll get it after Spain, but before Monaco. That's going to be crucial for Monaco. We don't have enough for the nose, unfortunately. What else can we get? We've got the monocoque. Yeah, that's some... Oh, this is going to be powerful. We need this. Maybe we should save for the engine cover, because that's normally pretty useful. Or we can go for the rear floor under tray. It's a tricky one. I think we'll keep the points and then go for this engine cover upgrade at the end of the next practice session in Spain. We won't get it for a while, looking at how long this is going to take, but we might get it after Azerbaijan, thinking about the future. Right. Time for qualifying. Well, here we are on board our first quali lap in Miami. As you can see, ERS management is a little bit of an issue on this circuit as we just about get to the end of the lap. P12, that's dead last at the moment with just under 10% of the battery left. So we go for another attempt in Q2. We can see already nearly a second faster than we were on our first time around. Don't get the final corner too well there, but we're going to improve by almost a second, maybe about a second. We're going to go up to P17. And there we have it. That is qualifying all done and dusted. Unfortunately, though, I think we got pushed down near the end. Yes, we are ahead of Alex Albon, Nicolas Latifi, and Zhou Guanyu. And Théo Pourchaire just missed out on Q2 again. And it is very close between us at the back of the field at the moment. So let's get on with the race. Well, here we go, the much anticipated Miami Grand Prix, a new circuit to the 2022 calendar, of course taking place in the state where Florida Man is from. So we'll be looking to see if anyone from the crowd is standing out during this Grand Prix. Of course, we already had this circuit on display during the during the hot lap. Not very successfully in the McLaren, and now we'll have to see what we can do in racing conditions in a Formula 1 car. Anyway, don't forget to like that video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you know when the next races in the season have been uploaded. Of course, we will continue on into the next race, which I believe is Spain. Moving on to the starting grid order for today's race, and it's Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen leading the pack away once again on the front row. Then we have Carlos Sainz, alongside the second driver, Sergio Perez, at Red Bull. Then, once again, we have George Russell leading Lewis Hamilton away in P5 and 6, followed by Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon in 7th and 8th. Behind them, we have Valtteri Bottas and Lando Norris rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10, we have Kevin Magnussen lines up alongside Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Then it's the other AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda, followed by Daniel Ricciardo in the second McLaren. Sebastian Vettel is the lead Aston Martin today, as is Theo Pourchaire, the lead Slothz car, followed by Mick Schumacher in the other Haas. He's alongside Lance Stroll, who's up from his previous performance. We're still in P19, once again alongside Alex Albon, and on the final row it's Nicholas Latifi and Zhou Guanyu. Well, as you'll soon see, this was an absolute slog of a race to try and get through from start to finish. As lights out and away we go, massive plume of dust in the background. That was us getting a ton of wheel spin as we come down towards turn 1 and get boxed in behind 3 cars there, and actually allow Nicholas Latifi to come through on the outside, which is absolutely unacceptable. And the only person now that we're battling with is Zhou Guanyu, who is in fact in a better car than us, as we jump back on board now to continue the rest of lap 1. Lots of fighting going on up ahead, and we massively make a mistake there coming down towards the yacht section. Round we go. Nicholas Latifi ahead of us. Not the greatest by any stretch, and quite possibly something that will get me condemned on YouTube. But it does highlight initially. In fact, let's just cover this as Zhou Guanyu tries to go down the inside, but we go down the inside of Nicholas Latifi into this tricky section now, which is like the stadium section, but much worse from Mexico. We actually managed to get back past the Williams, and now we're lining up along the back of Alex Albon. But as we come onto the back straight, it will highlight one of the massive issues with this car. Everyone else is much faster. As Alex Albon slowly shrinks into the distance, you can see that, well, there goes Nicholas Latifi, which I think is enough said there, actually, in terms of our performance during this race. For whatever reason, in qualifying conditions, our car is absolutely fantastic. In racing conditions, though, with slipstreams and DRSs in effect, the story is a little different. As we come down towards turn 1 for the second time now, Nicholas Latifi sits ahead of us. We get a little over the curb there, small correction. You can see Alex Albon is just about hanging on to the back of his pack. Latifi, I believe at this point, is just towing us along with the small amount of slipstream that he is creating. And it really highlights, out of this hairpin now, we've had a little bit of deployment there on the exit of the corner. Nicholas Latifi is still ahead of us, and he is not getting any closer. Zhou Guanyu now looks to the inside as we come down towards the stadium section once again, and he has got the move done, which means that for the first time, quite possibly in our entire Mighty career mode ever on the channel, we are running dead last on merit. I don't understand how Theo Pourchaire is 5 positions ahead of us, or 6 positions ahead of us, but he's managing it just about. You can see him on the mini-map there, the light green dot behind the Aston Martin of Vettel, and there is a gap that's starting to form there, so I believe he may be holding up a few people. As we come around the final corner of lap 2, or is this the final corner? Who knows? We come around the final tight corner of lap 2, and we'll go rejoin the race on lap 3 as we watch Pourchaire under attack from Mick Schumacher through sector 1 as they come shooting through the yacht club there with the fake water and the Australian flag of all things flying. I think someone might have made a mistake there. Anyway, DRS enabled for Mick Schumacher. He's going to have a look on our teammate now. He has closed the DRS partway round that corner. I'm not entirely sure why the AI have been doing that, But yet they have. And Theo Pourchaire, he goes wide and absolutely opens the floodgates now as Sebastian, not Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll tries to get round him as well. He has managed to defend it for the time being as they come through this tricky section. To be right on board with us a few corners back as we're still in this battle with Zhou Guanyu and Nicholas Latifi. And we'll get to see once again the issue that we're experiencing. Earlier on in the video, when we saw the R&D for the engine, it's way behind the car with the worst engine power overall, and it's really showing here. And this was actually just before we rejoined us there. Nicholas Latifi runs wide, and Zhou Guanyu gave us a brake check, which was very appreciated. As we come round the final tight corner again. Much like last time out in Saudi Arabia, it is much down to the cars ahead battling, which is enabling us to stay with them. As Zhou Guanyu makes a mistake there and runs wide in turn one. We're going to take advantage, have a look up the inside, snap of oversteer on the curb, but we managed to get the position without slamming into the side of the Alfa Romeo. Nicholas Latifi up ahead, really struggling in the corners apparently, so the Williams has a very, very strong straight line speed, not so much when it comes to corner, and you can see how much we can close up here. But then as soon as we get to a straight line again, it's just, he's pulling away, and we've run out of ERS almost on lap 6. DRS is open. We're maxing out in the mid 190 miles an hour. I don't think we're going to hit 200. Okay, we do hit 200 on the straight, but we make a mistake there. Big lock-up going into the tight left-hander. Allows Zhou Guanyu to just come back past, and there won't be another opportunity like that coming until he makes a mistake to get back past. And instead we have to sit behind them through this tricky section again. But yes, the Williams definitely struggling in terms of its chassis and its aerodynamics, but it more than makes up for it on the straights with the Mercedes power unit, and it is really starting to cut deep for us right now as we rejoin on lap 7, about to be 8. Another hit of oversteer there on the exit of the corner. Nicholas Latifi and Zhou Guanyu, for the past few laps since we've skipped through, have just been going at it like this, just repeatedly smashing into each other. I don't think either of them have got any kind of spatial awareness, although based on real life I think we'd have to put the blame on Nicholas Latifi being the one at fault for most of these collisions, given that he does have a tendency to smash his car to pieces. As we come round once again, closing up massively, the Alfa Romeo really being held up as his rear wing does some weird shit with the colour scheme, or the shadows. But DRS is open again. We're still not closing up. I think the only reason we're able to keep with these guys is because of their battling like that. And then Zhou Guanyu again hits the brakes right in front of us through the corner. And at this stage of the Grand Prix, I've had enough. So I just go for the dive bomb here. I take no care in hitting the back of Nicholas Latifi, who has been holding us up a right treat all the way through, and then hit Zhou Guanyu as well. But to be fair, he did crash into me multiple times as we have a look on board that move again. I think we only narrowly snagged the back of the diffuser on the Williams, so it wasn't the biggest of impacts. But Zhou Guanyu hopefully has learnt his lesson not to mess with us again, and he has to take a long way round the chicane. Anyway, we rejoin lap 10. We're still sat behind Nicholas Latifi, closing up in Sector 1 and part of Sector 3, and then losing it all on the straights. DRS not helping. Thinking back to R&D, we've unlocked DRS mechanics. We might be able to improve the power of our DRS, although I think the main culprit here is that the engine just isn't very good. And remember, we are running the Renault power unit, so it's already at a disadvantage compared to everyone else. Although I wanted to challenge, the Renault power unit may have been a mistake, but I still want to try and win a world championship with it before we change to something else. Hopefully we'll try and get through all of the power units before we reach Season 10. Anyway, another snap of oversteer on the curbs there. It's very difficult in this game not to go over the curbs because it's so tempting, having played so much F1 2021, as Zhou Guanyu, with no issues whatsoever, just go sailing past.
Try to stay with them. We might make a mistake and we can still regain the position.
And they come down into the final tight corner. We run wide there and hit the wall right as Charles Leclerc exits the session.
Understood. Copy that.
Move on to a new strategy now to pit at the end of this lap. Although I'm pretty sure that just said lap 10, not lap 11, even though we would be pitting on the next lap. Perhaps a small bug there, who knows. As we drive past Charles Leclerc, he's coming up somewhere. I didn't see him. He's off on an escape road somewhere, probably enjoying life on one of the yachts right now. Not that he can sail it anywhere. And now that means that both of the IRL top drivers, if you like, have retired from at least one Grand Prix. We lost Max Verstappen in Saudi Arabia. Now we've lost Charles Leclerc in Miami. He will lose his lead in the Drivers' Championship because of it, as Nicholas Latifi, for the 100 millionth time, crashes into Zhou Guanyu as Zhou Guanyu tries to make an overtake. And we come again through the chicanes, the Williams struggling, and then immediately opens up the power and we are left in the dust. And you can see just how bad it is, and it just every single corner that ended with a straight was just absolute torture for us. But at this stage it doesn't matter too much because we have got all of that damage to the front wing, so we are going to come into the pits and get a new one. Massive lockup on the way in there as we get used to the pit limiter rather than just driving in at 19 million miles an hour. And we come into the pit box, the only car to come into pit and the only car out on track with fresh tyres now. As we leave once again and get underway. Small lockup on the pit exit, but we got some fresh air that we can try and take advantage of with these fresh tyres, although we may be disadvantaged later on in the Grand Prix. And immediately after coming out of the pit lane, I was noticing the lack of grip. And look at the tyres, they're absolutely freezing cold, and trying to get them up to temperature by just running them through the corners as fast as possible. And it takes, a good half a lap before we're in a position where they are now, where they're actually in a usable state. Close that window off. But yeah, then we were just sat around for a little while, waiting for something to happen. Because of our front wing change and missing the pit box turn in, we came out quite far behind Zhou Guanyu and Nicholas Latifi. Zhou Guanyu evidently got past at some point and is now 10 seconds up the road. And in these final few laps, we have closed down a 3-second gap to Latifi by pushing extra hard in the sections with corners. Elsewhere on track, we've got Pierre Gasly behind us now, who is running with the soft tyres. Apparently at some point during the Grand Prix, he made contact with someone and came in for fresh rubber. And then had to come in again, which is why he's behind us now. So he's done a medium soft as far as I can establish. As for us, we're still on the medium hard strategy, but we are stuck behind Nicholas Latifi still, with the ever growing threat of Pierre Gasly approaching from behind. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that Pierre Gasly was about 11 seconds behind 2 or 3 laps ago, so he's closing at a pretty rapid pace, and he should be on us by the end of the Grand Prix as things stand at the moment. As we hit the wall again with the tyre on the front wing, it's just pushing so hard here, and by this point it was just mental exhaustion of driving around a circuit that I don't know and trying to do it with either cars ahead of us who are going very slow in the sections that we're strong and then leaving us behind, or just nothing happening whatsoever. It was a real battle of attrition, and you can see again closing up to Nicholas Latifi, and you just still cannot get past. As soon as we get to the straights, he is gone. And I feel as though we're out in Jeddah, although I say that on this occasion we did use some overtake there to try and close up to him. But in a circuit like Jeddah, where we're going around corners constantly, I don't think we really felt the true effects of the engine performance being particularly bad. Maybe on the straights, yes, but through the corners, which is most of the track, if I had to be brutally honest, we were performing particularly well. And I fear in Spain it's going to be the same issue as we have here, in that we're going to be closing up in all of the wrong sections, as again Nicholas Latifi nearly drops us completely from DRS, and even with DRS open he is barely getting closer to us. As we come round the final few corners now onto what will be the final lap 29, Pierre Gasly has halved the gap to us to just over a second. He will be on the back of our car by the end of this lap, so we are going to have to push extra hard now, of trying to avoid the curbs if possible, where we've sitting on our own, we've discovered which curves we can and can't use, which I suppose is useful to a degree, but not ideal for entertainment. As we come round towards the same section of track once again that we've seen Latifi absolutely dominate on, we switch back to the replay cam to get some lovely views of our car in its royal purple and, well, it's green, so not quite the compliment there. As we come into the stadium section, Nicholas Latifi noticeably emptying his battery on this lap. It was extremely difficult to get to the back of him. We didn't even make any mistakes. He does run out around this area though, and we've managed to close up once again. Unfortunately though, pushing so hard, we've managed to lock up, and that has brought Pierre Gasly into DRS range. Nicholas Latifi shits himself and runs away, and now Pierre Gasly is coming up behind us. He's going to look around the inside. We put the squeeze on him, but the AlphaTauri pushes us back away, and we have a massive lock up into the end of the straight there. And as we try to get back on to the circuit, I realised that the overtake button was still on and spin the car out, crash into the wall for good measure, and nearly lose the rear end again as the car's tyres are absolutely superheated. We come round the final corner and we cross the line. Not quite dead last thanks to Charles Leclerc and his DNF, but certainly a hugely disappointing result for us. Lewis Hamilton picks up driver of the day as well. Oh, how we wish that we were up there fighting with them again, as for the second time in a row this season we watch a Ferrari celebrating, although it looks as though on this occasion we've got a 7-time world champion on the podium joining them, and also a Red Bull. So the top 3 teams all making an appearance on the steps of the podium, and that of course means that George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both have had a podium each. It does mean though that with Carlos Sainz winning, both Ferraris have taken a win at 2 different races, but Max Verstappen has still yet to claim his maiden victory of F1 22. And given the fact that the Mercedes seem to be doing particularly well at the moment until they're inevitably nerfed, they seem to be in contention to get one of the wins should fortune favour them. Perhaps a fortunate safety car for George Russell to mug off the rest of the field and put him up into one of the top positions, as we see the same podium animation as we've seen multiple times before, just from the back, as we did last time. Let's do the results. And here are those final results. Of course, we know our top 3 already, but they were followed by Sergio Perez, George Russell, who picks up fastest lap, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas and Yuki Tsunoda. So this means over in the Drivers' Championship, Carlos Sainz takes control of first place, followed by Charles Leclerc and George Russell, tied on 26 points. And then Lewis Hamilton just 1 point behind in 4th. 1 point behind again, we have Sergio Perez in the lead Red Bull, then Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and then Yuki Tsunoda and Sebastian Vettel round out the point scorers. Further down the order, we have Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Daniel Ricciardo, ourselves, Zhou Guanyu, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, Théo Pourchaire, and Nicholas Latifi. And over in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari take the lead with 69 points over Mercedes in 2nd. Red Bull move up to 3rd place, overtaking Alpine, pushing them to 4th. Then we have McLaren and AlphaTauri in a close battle for 5th, followed by Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin as the final point scorers. Then it's Haas, Slothz and Williams. That's all for today. We'll catch you in the next one.